There's nothing left to do. Though it can be nice to stand in a quiet, lonely place for a time. Do you stay and stand more? Or do you leave? Without a second glance, you open the door and leave this tiny, tiny overworld. There he is, billionaire David Most. You've seen so many photos of him, but no photograph has ever accurately captured the experience of standing in his presence. He's short, although he still manages to feel like he's taking up more space than he deserves. But where he's usually looking rather unapproachable in the pictures you've seen of him, today he looks downright cuddly.
You've done it! You brought me and Franklin together.
A tall, thin redhead steps forward, taking David's hand in his. There is a very tired air about him, but he has a smile just like David's now.
It's me. I'm Tinfoil Hat. I look like this. Aren't I cool?
We love each other very much, and we're just so grateful for your help.
I told him. What was the first thing I said?
He said, I made the damn things because I missed you so.
Well, I did miss you so.
I didn't realize how much I missed you.
But now we're together.
So together, and so back in love.
So in love with you, David Most.
I will kiss you now.
Oh, please do.
Climb right in.
Come here, you.
You accept their invitation with enthusiasm, and things rapidly devolve. It's messy, awkward, and oddly sweet. You're not sure how much time has passed in this rich nerd orgy. It seems to stretch on forever somehow, but by the time you're done, the outside world appears the same. Has it been 24 hours? You truly can't tell.
Can we get ice cream?
Oh, we have to tell him about our plans.
Oh, about that.
The second thing I said to David, what was the second thing?
The second thing was that you deserve something special for all your help.
And it was to make you partner.
When I found it was you who had the date theaters, I was astonished by your customer service skill.
It was like he was the customer and you were servicing him the whole time.
There's one thing that Valdivian will always need to stay in business.
Customers.
And we need someone who has the amazing powers of speech, empathy, and all the rest.
The human quality.
Choosing the right thing to say at the right time.
Told you. Will you join us?
As Vice President of Human Experience? Excellent.
We'll have the lawyers do the rest.
Hopefully not eat all the ice cream.
Oh, it looks like you have more visitors. We'll get out of the way.
Bright and early tomorrow, Valdivianite.
Your former boss Tom is here, the person you wish to see the least, ranking just behind David Most and your high school bully. But you can't even think about all that now, because your brain is still trying to process how this dreamy hunk could possibly be your dorky manager.
Hey, champ.
He waves at you in a way that is hopelessly corny, but also manages to show off his bulging pecs. What is going on here?
You did your best, and I love that.
He gets down on one knee, taking your hand in his. It's hard not to notice just how much his massive, strong hand dwarfs yours in this moment.
Will you be my little champ, forever and always? Oh, wow! Tom, you're really moving up in the world!
He rises to his feet, sweeping you up in his arms in a bridal carry.
Love has come for old Tom! I'll be on my way! Look out, world! Here comes Tom and his champ!
Here comes Tom and his champ, indeed. Against all belief, Tom is not only hotter than you ever could have imagined, but also an absolute god in the bedroom. He manages you until you can be managed no more, working closely with you to help you realize your full potential. You could do without him continuing to call you champ even in the throes of passion, but hey, he looks and sounds great doing it. And so you leave your home for the first time in what feels like weeks. Though the world can be frightening, your new friends and lovers are there to welcome you with open arms. Valdivian was quietly taken over by Franklin Least. Franklin's tenure at Valdivian sees him as a figurehead for good deeds and great business the world over. It's genuinely incredible how much good Valdivian does for the world out of David Most's hands. Abel is a regular fixture at the farmer's market, giving his homegrown vegetables away to those in need. You're not entirely sure how he supports himself, but whenever you ask, Abel just tells you a man's entitled to his secrets. Abel's veggies regularly find their way to your kitchen, hand-delivered by the man himself, with a smile and a warm hug. Erin continued her storied career as an auctioneer, with her uninterrupted chattering bringing the highest prices no matter what was being sold, which also increases the value of your own time together as she breathlessly recites the reasons she loves you. Amir never stopped attending the award ceremonies, as it always gave him a chance to show off his fabulous gowns. Eventually, a special category, most times nominated without a win, was created, especially for him. Unfortunately, he did manage to lose that as well. Amir's only consolation is the visits he makes to your house. He has never stopped loving you, and being loved by you is better than any award. Almost. Because of his propensity to wander the museum, gazing with wistful eye upon the paintings to which he was so intimately connected in his former existence, Art became the unwitting subject of a great photographer. Art's new very favorite thing to do is to bring the photos of which he himself is the subject over to your house. Discussing art with Art, who is the art, well, it's so metis, it's marvelous. Now and again, Arma would invite you for a night at her remote lookout tower to get away from it all and enjoy the peace and quiet. When you visit her, the glint of the medals she's won fighting blazes all across the country can be a little blinding. To Arma, though, the real prize is the safeguarding of her beautiful surroundings. Although the noises that the two of you make together during nights spent in the lookout towers can be heard for miles. Eventually, Barry could not bear the tide of demand for his own bespoke line of beauty products. Unfortunately, he remained too candid to satisfy the marketing department. One customer he was able to satisfy was you. He confessed frequently that he designed all of his best products only for your skin type. Bathsheba's reign as Queen of Renaissance days is so successful she inspires a few copycat chains to open up in town, but each of them fold immediately. Crowds just can't get enough of the Renaissance days Queen Bathsheba. Bathsheba is always sure to save a seat for you in the crowd. Only when she comes to visit you does she finally drop the Queen act, reminding you of just how much she adores you. Beau's physical exuberance soon proved overwhelming for children aged 6 to 10. Fortunately, on one of her long parkour-style runs through the woods around the camp, she discovered what would quickly become her new passion, a natural skills survival camp called Wild Ones. She learned to start a fire, build a shelter, hunt and forage food. She naturally shared all of this with her own young campers. Beau goes on retreats with the Wild Ones at least 3 times a year, and she always makes a point to reserve a spot for you. When you go, she packs her extra-large tent. Benoit's advocacy catapults them into true superstar status, culminating in a merch line that consists of t-shirts, plushes, lube, and naturally, sex toys. They send you a sex toy plushie for your bed, reminding you to keep it safely unsafe and never forget your first. Betty's near instinctual ability to help people comfortably and safely find their sexy side soon leads her to Hollywood, where she takes up a second career as an intimacy coordinator. You're excited to see her name in the credits of some high-profile releases, including an award-winning adaptation of a beloved fantasy novel. But even booked and busy, Betty always makes time for you. The Tipsy Tumbler became famous for Bring Your Own Ingredient nights, where local patrons can bring whatever food and drinks they like to try to stump the master mixologist. Beverly has never failed, and has created a hurricane of new custom cocktails named in her honor. Although the ones she's made for you after the bar has closed up remain yours and her little secret. Your time with Emmanuel was short. While you were offered the highest level of care and attention, the glint in his eyes proved to be all too much for you to take. Bobby is Employee of the Month for the 3rd time in a row. They try to rationalize this as them finally being good at crime, but both of you know better. Bobby comes by to see you often, relieved to be away from their adoring public. It's just so hard to be popular, you know? Sometimes it takes them a little while to drop the 20s affectation their work requires, but they deeply appreciate the safety to be themselves with you. Bodhi's consulting work has made him a regular fixture on the awards circuit, including the Emmas. He normally makes a splash on the fashion pages for his daring and colourful ensembles. You are always the person he begs to be his +1. Eventually, Cabrizio decided that the best use of his time and talent was just to stay at the airport. It is the hub, he claimed, the nexus of the perfect decision to come to Italy, and the disastrous decision to leave. The kiosk he erected is called La Casa Nostra, and due to its eccentric and charming proprietor, is now a tourist draw in its own right. You and Cabrizio have organized a system with the Italian government that allows you to visit him as often as you'd like without a visa, if you stay in the airport. Naturally, it is normal for Cabrizio to sneak you out of the airport and into La Bella Roma. You've kissed at almost every major landmark. Cam still dominates the county dump site. He's in line for a promotion, regional refuse regulator, an office job. As they uttered the word office, Cam's skin crawled. He'll most likely stay right where he is. He's even created a cozy trash cave for your love visits, whenever you happen by. Florence and Celia end up both running for the same position in a local township, in a bid to squeeze out the competition. To their surprise, Florence wins the election. Nowadays, Celia is the one running things from behind the scenes. She's having a nice time taking a break from the public eye. Florence is just glad she gets to relax. Florence does still get nervous with public speaking, so she and Celia come to your house regularly for rehearsal sessions. When Florence does well, you and Celia reward her with cuddling, tender smooching, and her favorite kind of mint truffle. Jeremy is currently holding down just one job, for the moment anyway. She found work at a year-round Halloween costume house as a demonstrator. Every day she goes into work to find out what she'll be wearing that day, and even though this is not strictly included in the job description, she creates an in-depth and engaging backstory for every character she portrays. Jeremy might insist that this is coincidence, but every time you go by the store to visit, the character she's playing has a love interest who simply must be played by you. You usually relent. Despite his name, Chance did everything for his community, deliberately and lovingly. He became so well known that his patients urged him to start streaming his play sessions. He's just begun, though he can't imagine that anyone would ever want to watch someone playing G&G. When he develops his campaigns now, Chance routinely drops by to consult with you. He claims he's never had such good or such pleasurable input on his creations. As the sassy chap sulked in the corner of a bar the night of his proposed video game release date, smoking his bubble pipe, the witty insults he threw at the other customers got some big laughs. He can be found at all the glorious salons around Europe, dispensing wit as easily as he spends other people's money. He spends yours just as lovingly. Clarence's newfound fame and fortune leaves him with less and less time for his beloved Batman, Dakimakura. And one day, the pillow simply shows up at your doorstep. Was it the pillow's idea? Clarence's? You're not really certain, but you carefully store it away in Clarence's old closet. It reminds you of him. Clarence stops by your place when he can, which isn't as often as either of you would like, but he sends you frequent text updates and selfies from his latest celebrity closet jobs. Connie has turned from voice acting into game development. Her current project is under NDA, but sources seem to claim it's The Legend of Sassy 2. In a loving gesture, she's hired you to voice her star character. Rod is currently racking up the nominations and is looking to return to comedy soon. Kurt is currently writing the televised roast of Rod. Everyone expects it to be the announcement of a new joint project. They both deny it, of course, but it is. Per usual, both Kurt and Rod enjoy employing you as the tiebreaker. You, of course, are always glad to see them, but you're just getting a bit tired of them poking at your elbows.
Damon is always standing behind you, protecting your every
Daisuke sends you pieces others have made of him. Your home is beginning to fill up with beautiful drawings, photographs, and sculptures. You can't help but smile when you see them, especially the ceramic sculptures. It's almost as if he's home with you once again. Daisuke invites you out to art classes with him frequently. He never improves, and he never manages to make anything beautiful. But the smile he gives you when your eyes meet over your latest creations, it never fails to make your heart flutter. Whenever his wings appear in a bar, the loneliest customers see it as a sign of trust and honor. He also becomes responsible for a marked increase in weddings in your town, as well as over 300 children. All legitimate and well cared for, of course, as he only believes in using his powers for sparking real relations, not just one-night burnouts. Dante has offered to set your love life on fire too, when you're ready. You both not so secretly know that when you are, he's going to set you up with himself. Burn me, baby. Dasha continues to cook far more than she or you could ever possibly consume. She begins to host weekly dinners for those in the community without family or a place to go, and only then does she finally fill the void she's been feeling within. While Dasha has no shortage of mouths to feed these days, it doesn't stop her weekly deliveries of home-cooked food and hugs. She often leaves you love notes in the baskets she brings. Diana's talent for directing cars is legendary. Her zero-accident reputation gets her to the top of the Traffic Stop Top 40 charts. A big-time traffic producer notices and takes her to the big leagues. Air traffic controlling. Naturally, with her dapper hat and her perfect balance between rapport and rationality, she shines with iconic grace. Diana relishes coming back to the house to share her air traffic stories with you. The pleasure she gets from giving you a story all of her very own and watching the pride and excitement in your face is some of the most profound of her life. Dishy's helpful nature kept him forever working as the most diligent assistant of all time. Thank goodness he never had any lust for power. Rod help us. Dishy is always there to tend to your every need, sexual or otherwise, precisely 5 minutes before you were even aware you were about to feel it. The more time you spend with Dolly, the more impressed and inspired you become. One day you realize with a start that you've elected to pursue your own PhD course, with her as your advisor. Her faith in you gives you a powerful confidence. Your thesis is tentatively entitled The Effects of Tantra on Getting a PhD. Happy studying, graduate. Dorian became a doorman. What else did you expect? He's happy, though. And whenever he sees you walk past, he almost drops his steady expression to give you a smile, a wink, and a very meaningful nod. Doug's path for entertaining people through the story of the yo-yo was never truly destined for success. But Doug has never cared about success, and somehow his stylings are still available on public access every night. He names his tricks after you. All of his tricks are named Dork. Washford and Drysdale took their brand new duo act on the road and fell absolutely flat. It was a shock to all, but they rallied. They found work together at a landscaping company. Washford boosts Drysdale into the highest trees, and Drysdale does some phenomenal things with leaf and branch. It is not rare for you to wake up and find that in the night, your yards have been transformed into phantasmagoric bonsai wonderlands. It is meant as an extravagant love note, and you do take it as such. Dunk's kids finally managed to win a game. Dunk sends you his trophy to remind himself to stay humble. It sits in your workout room, a sweet reminder of him and his sincere love of the game. When Dunk comes to visit, as he frequently does, he insists that your athletic lovemaking sessions happen in your workout room. He claims the trophy inspires his creative stamina. Anything for your partner, right? High-voltage realty filled Eddie's soul, and also his wallet. He's currently planning a vacation to Berlin for himself and Volt. History, fabulous nightlife, great food. But don't tell Volt. It's a surprise. Eddie comes to your house to check on the electrical system from time to time, also to have a quiet cocktail in the corner booth of the local bar. And Volt comes by to dance. Fantina is currently on tour on major sidewalks around the country, helping give support for good driving habits, matching clothing ensembles, and great smiles. The daily cheers she sends you for anything in your own life, no matter how minor, are always welcome. Faria remains an enthusiastic fixture at your local medical center. She's working her way through the clinical portions of her medical education, and like anyone in that situation, is exhausted and stressed out most of the time. But her attitude remains optimistic and helpful. There's nowhere else she'd rather be. Whenever she can, Faria comes over for extended study sessions at the house. These are usually quite focused, as a great quantity of work must be done. But they almost always end with Faria's sleepy head on your shoulder. Freddy rarely comes down from the mountaintop. He has been the subject of several documentaries, yet never appeared in any of them, in spite of repeated requests. Fortunately, you know the back way to his abode, and your times together are nothing short of monstrously fulfilling. Friar Errol joins a men's choir, and they're actually quite good. They travel around the world performing for massive crowds, full of celebrities and dignitaries. But lest you be too excited that Errol has finally done something for his own enrichment, Errol sends you reports on his progress converting members of the choir to his faith, vowing that he will spread his message by any means necessary. Since joining the choir, Errol has taken to composing love songs for you, though they still contain constant references to his faith and mission. He may have softened towards you, but Errol remains ever himself. Gaia hasn't stopped traveling since she left the house. She keeps you updated and tags you in every photo on social media. Her profile banner updates with a checkmark on every country, city, and river bottom she's visited. The last photo Gaia tagged you in might be your favorite to date. It was a selfie of her, with a great big smile standing outside your front door, right before she knocked. It was her first visit home since her realization. Let's just say you both made up for the absence. The Hanks convince you to join them on their impossible expedition to base jump off the flat Earth. The six of you pass the fifth gate of the Great Ice Wall, sail past Shangri-La, and stare over the never-ending waterfall at the end of the world. When you finally dive off and freefall through miles of space and land on the moon, you truly can't believe these idiots were right. It turns out to have been an elaborate ruse, though, just to get you on the moon. You turn to them, breathless with wonder, to find all five of them on their knees. They propose that you be the seventh Hank. Officially, dude. Hank 5's dream of becoming a father came true, and Hank 0's first word was indeed, "Wee." Harper's tattoos gain national attention when she begins offering free wedding band tattoos to couples looking to fully commit. Nothing makes her happier than helping couples show their commitment to each other permanently. Strangely enough, Harper refuses to get a tattoo to commemorate your own relationship, but she does plant a tree in your name at the park. Hector's artistic masks are used both digitally and in the real world. The sense of mystery they evoke brings forth tantalizing magic where there was none before. He is a happy mask salesman in his downtime between crafting. Hector recently dropped by to unveil his latest passion project, a pair of matching masks for the two of you. They are exquisite, but his blushing pride and warm embrace moved you even more. You get to Thimbledon in time to see Hero complete her first real-world special technique, Starlight Smash Again. The unexpected technique transforms the landscape of tennis forever. Your love inspires her to give her all, her even further beyond, her most ultra. After Hoove completed his PhD thesis, The Event Horizon, a proof of temporal interdimensionality, he decided to go on a short vacation. He came back to find that his paper had been translated, studied, and accorded the honor of being the most recent quantum leap in our understanding of our universe. He brought you a copy of the paper. You gave him a file box full of newspaper articles, magazines, scholarly journals, and popular writing about his impact on our cultural consciousness. Then you ordered pizza. He always comes over to hang out and stargaze. Holly spends her days zipping around town making deliveries, spreading good cheer everywhere she goes. Her payment of anything goes means that everyone can use her services, and her scooter is covered with drawings, stickers, and even desserts. Sometimes Holly will create a little package or present for you, just to have the excuse to deliver it. She's often there and gone before you have a chance to really take her in, but it's all right. You have a smiling confidence that she'll blow back into your life very soon. Not long ago, Ron released his latest piece of technological wizardry, his patented clothing press, but travel-sized, so small that it fits inside his very own top hat. Or anyone's top hat, really. It's the perfect size, no matter your chapeau of choice. Ron delights in visiting your house frequently to showcase his newest inventions. Some of them work, and some of them, well... But whatever happens, he is always thrilled to see you. And there's just been the one fire, so you're still thrilled right back. Jacques regards his budding career with Fantasy Cruise Lines with great sincerity. He has been the most highly reviewed captain in the company for almost 5 years now. TripAdvisor in fact recommends him so highly that his cruises sell out up to 6 months in advance. So far, no paying guests have died. Jacques always makes sure to send you a voucher for a free suite on cruises he captains. He delivers them to the house personally, wearing his full dress uniform. Normally, when he leaves the next morning, however, he's wearing a fashionable Fantasy Cruise Line sweatsuit, with his uniform neatly folded in a duffel. Jean-Nou agrees to help you do your taxes, but after seeing the state of your finances, he no longer returns your calls. He still loves you, but did you really expect the toilet man to be your husband in the end? Kids come from miles around to see Jerry's intricate model train sets. They're free to peruse his miniatures and control the RC train cars, but heaven help them if Jerry spots them moving any of the pieces around. But you, oh love of dear Jerry's life, you can move any damned piece you want. Johnny made a splash as the premier wedding officiant in all of Vegas. His impression was so uncanny that many attendees felt transported to the 1950s. He still finds time to look for Duke, who just never seems to show up these days. Probably off gambling, Johnny supposes. His dreams of hitting the big time are right around the corner. You whisper in his ear each night. Rock and roll will never die. Key's epic concerts and workshops have revitalized the piano business, bringing back the industries of piano movers, piano tuners, and page-turners. Her content has millions of followers, though she is yet to find out how much popularity she has, since she hasn't been able to tear herself away from the keys for more than a few moments each day. And those few moments are always spent with you, talking about music and making plans for more. Keith's body was never found. Koa's Comfort Warehouse becomes a massive success after an ad of Koa snoring on a couch for 30 seconds goes viral. Koa refuses to let fame go to his head, however, and despite the increased demand, prices remain as affordable as ever. Despite an entire warehouse of comfortable places to sleep, Koa's favorite snooze spot is still in your arms. While her coffee shop runs smoothly, Kopi finds herself having to battle numerous lawsuits about the use of their business name. Kopi decides to change course and change the name to something totally different. Dunkin' Donuts. You try to tell Kopi that you'll happily help her name her business. It doesn't seem to be her strong suit. She's just so flattered by your interest that she blushes and hugs you harder. You suppose that's all right, too. Christoph yearned for greater challenges than he'd been able to find on the entire surface of the Earth, so he went within. After learning that the gravitational constant increases dramatically at the boundary of the Earth's core and its mantle, Christoph determined that he would go there. He would be the first human to survive and work out in that environment, all because of his beautifully engineered intra-Earth submersible. But intra-Earth or not, Christoph knew that no environment could possibly be hotter than Christoph himself. On his most recent visit to the house, he claimed that since you survived him, you were more than qualified to come with him on his trip. He offered to build a teeny cabin on the submersible just for you. You are still considering. Memoria's company Memorandum continues to satisfy and unsettle. Her clientele frequently report feeling much more in touch with their dark sides, even as their homes are literally lightening up. Occasionally, a client will ask for something just a bit more personal. You can always count on hearing from her under these circumstances. The two of you are an on-site team when it comes to the sensual exploration of the shadow. Lucinda Loving volunteers as a role-play facilitator for those suffering from identity crises, but she spends the majority of her time at the monastery, offering free advice for those looking to find their true selves. She, of course, went to one of those monasteries where you don't have to take a vow of chastity, to your immense approval. Luke returns from abroad to meet you from time to time, bringing you stories of valor and exotic toasted treats from lands far away. There are always bite marks in the pastries, which he assures you are only for your protection. You can't think of anything more endearing from your big, bad soldier. Every now and again, Lux ats you at a post. That's it. And no matter how many times you try to block the email address, no inbox check is complete without an invite to verified social. You have yet to accept. This is what loving Lux is like. After a distinguished career translating for all walks and varieties of life, Lyric realized that his services were but a stopgap. So he turned his immense talents to invention and built the Transworder. A fantastical combination of the printing press, the assembly line, and a bit of steampunk magic, the Transworder takes any book, in any language, and translates it, with all the intention of the original author to the language of the user's choice. He has just completed the translation of the Bhagavad Gita, which apparently is quite a bit funnier than anyone had yet deduced. He loves to show off to you, bringing his latest translation to your house. His favorite thing is asking you to read them aloud and devolving with you into goofy laughter at your pronunciations. Feeling silly has never felt so lovely. As one of Moneycoin's top-performing senior blockchain project acquisition analysts, Mac was rewarded handsomely with a 2.5% cost of living raise and a framed certificate proclaiming them January's Analyst of the Month. Mostly they worry that they're going to be replaced by a computer, which is an extremely ironic twist that you find very humorous. Although at night, when you're in your bed, you find the irony disquieting. When you feel the disquietude, though, you simply roll over to Mac and they stroke your hair. All better. After her last whirlwind tour, Maggie sent you her signed manuscripts, care of an address postmarked Turkleman City, Florida. Her latest novel centers around what she called a tortuous and punishing but ultimately yummy love story. She claims if you read it all the way through, you'll be the real protagonist. Together with his inanimals, Matteo now runs an international secret rescue network for abused animals all over the world. So far, he has shut down 4 dogfighting syndicates, a sales ring for exotic parrots, and a chain of backwater circus houses. Davy still wanders off from time to time, but he always comes home with several new members to add to the pack. Recently, Matteo had to go on a rescue mission overseas, and bringing his inanimals was impossible. You thought he'd called to commiserate, but he was actually asking you to watch over them while he was gone. You have never felt more trusted or more loved. You and Mitchell find yourselves in the same city. He treats you to the kind of meal most mortals can only dream about. But he always leaves room for the main course, roast critic. The one thing you and Mitchell do not savor in restaurants is dessert. Don't misunderstand. You eat dessert in restaurants, but the savoring happens behind closed doors, deep in silk sheets. John Wick made a name for himself in the criminal underworlds of fine metal forgers around the country. No one dared to counterfeit anymore, so he took his finely tailored clothes to the public broadcasting system, where every week he gives appraisals of pewtered pots aplenty. So enamored of Dear John have you become, you suggest the ultimate vulnerability, adopting a dog together. John looks at you through grief-narrowed eyes and indicates that no, that would not be a good idea. Tina's long string of endorsements and failure to pay a single dollar in taxes catch up with her, and Tony is now forced to do TV shows he'd turned down prior to pay off her immense tax bill. Tina grows jealous of what she sees as Tony's rising star, and the two of them continue to break up and get back together. Both Tina and Tony text you incessantly, complaining about the other and begging you to join them on TV. They insist you are the only good thing in their lives. Mikey and his children spend their days together learning, laughing, and loving each other's company. The world is open and free for their futures. You and Mikey always find time to talk on the phone and wonder what will happen next for the transaction family. While it never replaced fiat currency, Monique's Pizzas ended up becoming a franchise that was sorely needed for America's ailing middle class. And whenever she sees you come in, she flashes you $1 million smile and lets you know that there are no discounts, even for lovers. A large film distributor buys the rights to Nightmare's most popular films, setting about remaking them with massive budgets. Nightmare is so disgusted by the whole thing, she quits film, only coming out of retirement to help you decorate your yard for Halloween once a year. She volunteers at the senior center now. Many of them mistake her for an angel of death, but they love her all the same. Nightmare still drops by many nights, never failing to startle you as she materializes suddenly from the dark. But your sleep in her embrace is nothing but peaceful. After many record-breaking years of album releases and performances, Miranda Dulcita Tostadora launched her own label, Crispy Baby Records. She still sends you an advance copy of any album her label releases. She values your feedback above all others. The only problem is now everyone is aware of your love life. All her songs are about you. Parker's days of being an umpire add a powerful nobility to the profession. His steadfast regard for rules makes the players respect him, though his unpredictability makes them fear him. He's never been happier than when making a difficult call. You get together at random times to play erotic dice together, though you're never quite sure if he really loves you or if you're only one dice throw from him hating you forevermore. Penelope convinced her boss to invest in a struggling office supply retailer, insisting that computers will someday let us down or perhaps kill us all. The company has not gone under, yet. Penelope takes advantage of her boss's latest investment, proposing an office calendar filled with romantic motivational business quotes. She credits you with the idea and sends you love notes on torn-out pages from the calendar. Phoenicia's murals of positivity have adorned the sides of skyscrapers from Dublin to Dubai, bringing smiles to people all over. Her next project is to be even more fantastic and visible. Crop circles. She always wants to paint you to prove her love, but you always reply that love is best expressed by doing your favorite activity, simply talking with each other. Prissy still works for the Great Nations Park Service, but she has been promoted, several times in fact. She is now in charge of all the fieldwork for the MRC, the Mycelial Research Campaign. Prissy studies mushrooms and has found them to be an endlessly fascinating and intricate celebration of life, death, and evolution itself. On one of her recent visits, you were able to open Prissy's eyes to the psychedelic aspects of her beloved mushrooms. She now comes over often to continue her education with you. Rainey's run of Talc was so successful that it got picked up for a sold-out stint on Broadway. Rainey left acting soon after the run, insisting that she'd rather go out on top and that she could never play another role with the same commitment and authenticity. Rainey's plays keep her busy, but she always finds time for you. She comes to see you as often as she can, bringing with her stories about show business and life on the road. She sings for you when she's in the mood, putting on fabulous world-class and personal performances. Graduates of Rebel's unincorporated charity home found their GPAs stunningly high, athletics through the roof, and more importantly, lots and lots of dates. Rebel comes to the house regularly, just to check in and explore with you the new sexual frontiers they've discovered. There are so many things they can't share around the charity, after all. The number of hate crimes around the world has gone down tremendously due to Reggie's tenacious tricksters. Groups are terrified of banana peels, hand buzzers, and whoopee cushions. But if there's one thing that Reggie always wants to heat up, it's his confused love for you. River creates a candle she claims is your own unique mix of scents, and it proves to be quite popular. She sends you one of your own. It smells amazing, but does it smell like you? Who knows? River tries not to bring work home with her when she comes to see you, but she can't help herself. She loves testing scents against your skin and getting your thoughts on various scent combinations. She insists that your skin chemistry is just far superior to that of anyone else she works with. Rongo Maifenwa quickly worked her way up to management at the dairy farm. The freedom to give orders once more pleases her greatly, though she never misses a chance to play in the mud with the kids, both goat and human. Rongo Maifenwa stops by frequently with deliveries of ice cream and cheese, ready with some messy activity for the two of you. Most recently, she's got into making plaster molds of her own body, still fascinated by humanity's fragility and diversity. Skips gives you comps to every performance of every show. Some nights, as the lights go down and the play is about to start, you swear you can hear him whisper, "Luna Night, is that you?" The stage door, after the curtain comes down, is awash in fans waiting for the actors to emerge. You wait alone for the one slippery shadow who drifts through the crowd. To your eyes, the real star of any show. And he drifts right towards you. Every time. Shelley finds a way to combine both her passions, putting on the library's first bodybuilding competition. The winner receives a $20 gift card to Beanbucks and all their library fines wiped out. The competition is a rousing success, going viral on social media and ensuring the library's funding remains secure for years to come. Of all the things Shelley lifts to stay in shape, you remain her favorite. She stops by the house frequently for bone-crushing hugs, basking in the positive glow your love provides. She's still getting used to letting go, even as a human, but you always make her feel safe. Sinclair, the proverbial philosopher king, led humanity into a new era of prosperity. When you ask him his secret during your candlelit nights together, he quietly responds, "Turtles. Turtles all the way down." Despite having disappeared off the grid after the thrilling and dangerous heist, you are still pleasantly surprised to receive anonymous postcards affectionately addressed to "My worthless little wretch." You're the only one who gets the address to whatever bunker she currently resides in. Stefan and Mr. Cluckles eventually become the faces of a successful artisan seaweed brand, though Stefan is rather miffed when he realizes that customers are more attached to Mr. Cluckles than to him. Stefan, of course, had no real reason to feel miffed. Mr. Cluckles is cute, but Stefan will always be the true hottie to you. He has burners, for God's sake. Stella brings a fresh perspective on streaming and brings in viewers by the millions each weeknight, though she knows that those viewer numbers could always be stepped up. Your love for each other is the only thing that keeps her obsession with the algorithm tempered. Stepford frequently sends you motivational Monday texts, often at ungodly hours, with photos of himself working out, body paint and all. Stepford is the only person in history from whom you gratefully accept nudes. Telly is the most prolific blogger for Valdiviflix, having written reviews of just over 15,000 shows. All of them rhyme. From time to time you check in on him in his screening room and talk long into the night about what he's watched. In all the years since Teddy has taken up residence at the Bean, the only thing that has changed in his life has been a very slight relocation of seats due to drafts. At this point, it should go without saying, you have always been and will always be Teddy's favorite, and he will love to let you know it for the rest of his days. In addition to keeping busy with her localization work, Textbox-chan joins the board that governs the adoption of emojis for text messaging, the UI Code Consortium. Most recently, a pair of glasses suspiciously similar to the Dateviators have been added to your phone's keyboard. You can't help but smile fondly when you see them. Textbox-chan makes time to visit you whenever she can, but when she's gone, she texts you frequently, and she never misses an emoji. Timothy's work at the train station nets him international acclaim, and when he travels to Japan to connect with his colleagues overseas, his presence causes quite a stir. Timothy is honored with a limited edition Tokyo Metro card that sells out immediately, and 1 year later, Timothy merchandise is available in most Tokyo Metro stations. Timothy returns from his trip to Japan with kawaii souvenirs and many, many stories about the perfection of Japan's timely train system. But as much fun as it was, Timothy can never be too far from you for too long. Her performance at the dinner show got the attention of a recruiter, one who worked with an anti-whaling organization. Though she feared water, Titus decided there was no greater cause than to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. After a few months at sea keeping the whales safe from the scourges of the ocean, she found her own ship attacked and wrecked, with 25 other crewmates adrift in a life raft. Her impressive resolve kept her crew alive, and most importantly, never once did they get wet nor soggy. Her resting hero face kept the waves frightened and at bay. The moment she touched dry land, Titus mailed you her logbook, her precious journal of every day and night on the perilous voyage. You were touched beyond words to receive it, and to see on every page a heartfelt line or two about your continued place in her heart. Tyrell has since sold his business to his employees, but he can't stop himself from coming into work, if only to check in on his towel buddies. He started folding them in your image to show his affection for you. He just can't quite get the nose right. Von Trapp's business booms, then fades as he completely exterminates all the vermin in the city limits. He drives his panel truck around hoping to bring up business, but for some reason it doesn't seem to work. He comes over occasionally to make sure there's no vermin incursion happening in your crawl space. But the last time he showed up, you surprised him with the world's biggest cheese plate. He'd deny it, but he teared up, and the two of you had a romantic, slightly smelly picnic. Whenever he visits Rongo Mai Fenwa on her dairy farm, she always makes it a point that she spend at least several days with him, alone. Wall, wall, wall. Wall, wall, wall. Wall, wall, wall. Willie is so successful as a consultant that she expands her business, hiring several of your former co-workers to continue the extensive cleanup required after the industry-wide haste to adopt AI. There's a deep satisfaction in knowing that Willie is now turning the tables on both of your behalf. Maybe there is some justice in this world after all. Willie invites you on the vacation of a lifetime, all expenses paid, care of Valdivian. There's something healing about being on a romantic getaway and knowing the massive bill will be sent to the soulless corporation that fired both of you. Winifred is in the process of expanding the Hot and Heady franchise to a second location. She is looking for partners to invest, hopefully a throuple. Though the two of you have some very steamy nights together, you always welcome the chance for another to join in on the action. Gwendolyn found that she was so good at discovering gossip that was true, she caught the attention of an intelligence service that shall not be named. She kept her TV show, but she also uncovered covert secrets. She's in talks for the rights to the movie dramatization of her life, though she's holding out for a better price for her bird friends. The secret that she'll never tell? The love she has for you. Zoe continues to love her life and her job as a paranormal facilitator. She's had a couple of close calls, but the majority of her ghostly clients are nervous, if ultimately grateful. Zoe is always happy to see you. Your house is, after all, the best place for miles to hold a successful séance. You do sometimes wish your house wasn't quite so haunted, but seeing Zoe makes it worth the bumps in the night. Skylar gets to work immediately on creating a new version of the Dateviators, one that everyone can use. The world seems to be full of these days of happy, realized people doing wild, magical things. Skylar visits you often for inspiration. She stares into your eyes deeply, gratified, saying that yours were the ones that made all of this possible. Your eyes. Kind, friendly, loving, but ultimately the ones who listened the most, who trusted the most, who felt the most, and who defeated David the most. Your eyes, those beautiful eyes, the eyes of a true hero. Through your power, we can see that there was love always around us.